Today we have job number 12640 and it's a PlayStation 4 Pro that's had the power connector actually ripped off the board, which I think is actually a very common thing. So the power connector is meant to go here and I still have that power connector. Not anymore. Just about here, and it looks okay to reuse. I think we have to repair 1 or 2 traces and the rest actually look okay. Let's head over to the scope. This is the damage we were talking about. You can see here we need to replace this trace. I'm probably going to use copper here because it's quite a thick pad, so I'll use the grinding pen just to grind this away, put some copper, that one will be done. We have a little bit of trace here that we'll be able to use. We can use a thin wire for this one. This one, it seems to be ground, and this one is obviously another important one. However, it's okay. So we've just got the 2, 1, 2. This one is coming up, and like I said, it is ground, but it's fine. There's no break here. It's just a little bit floppy. First things first, let's just expose some of this with a grinding pen. Just get rid of the dust. Next, we'll tin the pads. So we need to tin here and here with some fresh solder, as well as here and here. Just use this little iron for that. That's tinned nicely. That's tinned nicely. That's tinned nicely. Also just have to remove the pads from the connector because they come off with it. There we go, that connector is now ready. Now I've cut the size of our wick down to what I think will be a reasonable size. So I'm just going to attach that now to the solder and try and hold it in place. So we just hold it down. Here it goes. There it is. All right, nice. Let's add a little bit of solder to make it a little bit more secure. There we go. Maybe just a tad more on this side as well. Perfect. Strong connection, very strong. If I just hover the connector over it, now this is where the connector's going. Has that wick come over far enough? Oh, it's going here. Yeah, it should attach, but I might need to move it over just a smidge more. So let's just do that, move it over a smidge more. There. And again, just making sure I've got enough solder on this side. Yeah, good, there we go. Now for the fun bit, we tack it down to all the pads that it needs to be tacked down to. And then we're going to add the wire on the back one. Let's get a nice blob of flux here. Position our connector. If we line up the back 2, it should, in theory, line up the front 2. So I'm going to go here. I'm just going to push down on the connector whilst soldering it to this thick braid. There we go. That looks pretty straight to me. Question is, does it need to be moved back a little bit, or are we going to get away with it? I think we're going to get away with it. Turn on our light above. Yeah, that looks fine. Remember, like I said, this one is ground, and you can see that this one lines up with the trace. So again, if we just plop a little bit of flux on each one of these, everything will have a nice clean anyway. And then again, whilst pushing down, there goes one. Oh, there goes 1. There goes 2. The fact that it's a little bit off center is fine, by the way, as long as you can plug the power connector in, which we're going to be able to. Just push down on here again, make sure, just to make sure. Now a little bit of flux on the back here, and solder on this pin itself, just there, and put some wire on it. Make sure we melt the enamel off of it. You can actually do that just down here. Not great using a conical tip. Let's come in with a slightly bigger one. Here we go. A little bit more flux. Solder here. Solder here. Nice big blobs. And cut the wire. There we go. And now my favourite part. A nice clean. Get rid of the flux that we have. Just going to use continuity now to ensure that we have connections on where we need them. And I'm actually thinking on this one occasion, I might use a little bit of glue. And the reason being is I've not worked on this board in particular before. And even though the pins are solid, the plastic itself is still a little bit wobbly. And that's because on the PS5 and the other PS4 boards I've worked on, I'm pretty sure you've got the ground legs on the side of the connector. I then use copper braid on those on each side and it really makes the port secure. But this, because it's just using the pins themselves to the board, with enough wiggle, like I can definitely pull that off. So the glue will be needed here, I think. But just to finalize the connections that we have, so do we have ground here? We do, which is going to be this pin. We don't have ground on any other pin, do we? Nope, that seems good. So it's only this one here. This pin should go to here and not connect to any others, which it doesn't. This one, I'm going to go from here just to make sure that we have that connection. Should go to this one, which it does. Does it go here? Nope. Here, nope. Here, nope. So we have continuity between here and here, which is good. I will put conformal coating on this as well. And the only other one is this one here. So that goes to pin 1, which it does. And does that connect to any of the others? No, it doesn't. Perfect. So everything is wired up as it should be. We just need to add some glue and give it a test to make sure that the PlayStation actually powers on, because that is the most important thing. Oh, and add the conformal coating. I'll add the conformal coating now. And being honest, adding the conformal coating here isn't really going to do much. The place where I really need to add it is at the back, just here. We tested the PlayStation 4 and it worked absolutely fine, which is amazing. Without putting glue on, we were also able to take the connector out of the port. We spoke to the customer about the glue situation. The only downside to having the glue there is that if you ever do need to make any corrections to the soldering work, which you shouldn't have to, you then have to take the glue off. The customer was pretty adamant that he wasn't going to be going into the PS4 again, and if he ever needed a clean going forward, he would just bring the device back to us. And like I said, if you're careful, you can literally just take it out anyway. So for that reason, we didn't put any glue on, and we have another happy customer. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in the next one. Peace.